real show started of episode 7 of ICE Dice Tossing Techniques, the ICE Tong Grip tonight. So, G, how are you doing, my friend, tonight?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I said, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm doing good. I feel good today. For those who know, but I feel pretty good today. It's a hot day here on the East Coast. 99 degrees with a heat index of 108 today, which is highly unusual for us. We're used to the humidity, just not those high temperatures.
Well, Hot Atlanta is living up to its name. It's been hotter than heck. It's best just to stay in and turn the AC on. AC's been running like pretty much nonstop.
Yeah, mine too. As you know, I bumped it down a little bit because in this room on the last show, they heard the fan running, so I turned the fan off, turned the air conditioner down, and we'll see what actually happens here with the show. So, Jay, let's go ahead and take it from the top. Welcome everybody that's here. I do want to put in the chat here as you get ready to talk with a couple of we'll get past your slide. We've had some super chats that were really early on, which just makes my heart guys, you guys just don't know how well that makes me feel, and that makes me keep doing this. I know that VDT said he got things started with a super chat, which he did, and then we got the 5 super chats. So we met the goal for tonight's show. But between everybody, just really thank you for the lovely super chats. And G, go ahead. I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's go ahead and get the show started. And I know we've got some disclaimers we always go through. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here's Mr. G.
All right. So, for those of you who attend these shows, you've seen this probably for the 7th, 8th time now. For the new viewers, if we get new viewers, just want to kind of put in some disclaimers and talk a little bit about what we're going to do tonight. So, first of all, this is not a clickbait. We're here just for educational purposes and to help people understand a little bit about dice tossing techniques and grips. We're not going to sell you anything. This is not a timeshare. We're not going to show you how to become a millionaire overnight. This is a no BS show. We keep it real and we talk about real stuff. Why are we doing this? There's more than one way to toss the dice, and there are people who've been teaching that are no longer with us. One of them is Howard. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of put these different tosses on record on YouTube so that they can just live, as long as they stay on YouTube and others can see them and learn them. You don't need to learn 10 different types of tosses and use them in the casino and keep trying until something works. However, not everybody can use the par toss or the on-access toss. Some people have disabilities. Some people have different types of quirks in their hands that maybe another shot works for them, and that's what we do here. We teach you the dice tossing technique. We give you information, and then I give credit where credit is due. If I don't know who created the toss, I talk about who showed me and who taught me the toss. And what we do is we ask you to use this information wisely. And if you ever feel the need that you have a gambling problem or you talk to somebody, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or go on their website, ncpggambling.org. There's help if you need it. Do not wait long. Do not wait until you're broke. Do not wait until your family has lost everything before you talk to somebody. And finally, what I want to say is that cancer sucks big time.
Yes, it does. Gee, I appreciate you hanging in there with all the I guess the legal stuff, if you will, to get it out of the way. And we need to go ahead and switch your screen back over, G. Come back on. I'm gonna go ahead and acknowledge these super chat people. VDT, that's Vegas Day Trippers. You guys got to know who he is. I mean, if you don't know, he records live in the casino all the time, and that's him, VDT. And welcome. Appreciate the super chat. Follow that up by Stephanie, who had a $2 super chat. My good friend who has a YouTube channel along with VDC is Sarge Vi Guy. And Sarge, welcome to the show. Thank you very much. That $49 super chat just warms my heart. We had Dax, my good friend from the Baltimore area. That's DJ Thunder. Hello to you. And then Mike the Bears followed up with great content, guys. And Mike, I wanted to acknowledge you. Gee, you got to switch your screen up. You still got the slides on, so if you would please.
Yeah, I still got 2 more slides. I got 2 more slides.
Oh, I thought you were done. Oh my gosh! Oh my, you messed my whole format
Nope.
up. We're gonna have to start all over. Go ahead.
No, we always have to give out the information and then what type of influence we're doing.
Sorry.
So-
go ahead. Here we go.
No worries. So what we're going to talk about is the ICE Tong, and tonight is we're going to talk about the ICE Tong grip, because you can throw the dice different ways with that grip. So it's not really an ICE Tong toss. It's just the grip and how you grip it. There are several rumors on who came up with the toss. None of them I could verify. So I'm not going to mention any of, because I can't verify it. However, I learned that grip from Howard, and Tony Leo put out a video years ago, 6-7 years ago, about a different style of that grip, and I'm going to show it tonight. So I want to give credit to Howard and Tony Leo. You can pretty much throw it from any position. You can throw it from stick left 1, 2, 3, straight out. However, as the same stands with most of the tosses, the further you get away from the back wall, the less influence you'll have. There are only a few tosses that are made to be thrown from straight out and from the hook. So, I personally recommend that toss from stick left 1 or stick right 1. You can throw it on a hard table, neutral, bouncy table. You just have to adjust the angle. You can throw it straight out, and I'll show you what I mean, or as a drop shot. And the height is, again, dependent on table conditions. If it's bouncy, keep it low. If it's hard, neutral, keep it high. And it's a 2-finger grip. Now, I've modified it to a 3-finger grip simply because I can get a little bit more stability, and I'll show you that. But because of my sweaty hands, I rarely use this toss. I use it horizontally from straight out every now and then, but most of the time I don't use it because the dice will go all over the place, and I'll demonstrate that tonight because I have very, very sweaty hands, so the dice will be going all over the place. And finally, what type of influence we're trying to do? So you can throw this on axis and off axis. So the grip and the toss was made for on axis. Howard modified it a little bit for his dice magic, and I'll show that tonight, to go off axis. It is a low, no spin, straight out toss. It's made to minimize bounce and hit soft landing. So basically, you're throwing it soft to the back wall, and we'll kind of demonstrate some of that tonight. So let me get out of here, change screens, and now we are in the show. So if you need to show something before I start, go ahead, do what you need to do, and then I'll start.
No, we're good to go. I I don't know how I messed that up, but no, the floor is yours,
No worries.
G.
Hey,
So let's get right to it. I will make mention, guys, that we're going to be giving away 5 entries into G's jacket tonight for his G jacket giveaway coming up in December. Yes, I know. We'll tell you a little bit more later. We've also got his fleece his fleece blanket. We're going to give away as a separate giveaway tonight, so hang in there for that. We'll be doing those a little bit in the show. And if you have a question, I've already had a question pop up here. Please put a capital Q with a semicolon, and I can pin it for later use. G, over to you.
All right. So, I changed my layout, and I'm still kind of in the process of making sure. I had my layout and cameras from stick right, kind of like down packed, and it's looking very nice. I'm still playing around with the camera angle once I moved to stick left, but I wanted to do some tosses from stick left because I had a lot of people say, hey, how about us that throw from stick left? So the ICE TONG grip for the straight out toss if you're on stick left, use your left hand, and if you're on stick right, use your right hand. The reason being is because it's kind of difficult to throw it that way. It just doesn't make sense. Although, some people can. It's just easier to do it with your left hand. And the way you stand is you stand with your hip to the rail, and I usually get on my toes a little bit and lean down, and then you kind of grip the dice, and that's how you toss it. Now, that's your stance, and usually, you're looking. If the reason why I kind of lean like this is because you got a stick man standing right here, and a lot of times they're either fishing or they're playing baseball or they're standing there going like this and stuff like that. So I always try to lean over the table because then I can bypass his fat belly, his gut, his stick, and everything else, and I have a straight line to the back wall. So I'm always leaning over. Plus, I can angle my body to whichever toss I'm doing. So if I'm doing the par toss, I can go like this. If I'm doing a lower toss, I can go lower. So it gives me motion. And just be careful, your right leg, which I don't know if you can see or not, just don't kick the waitress while she's coming by with the drinks. So that's usually the stance. Now the grip. The grip is easy. It's two fingers, your index and your thumb. It's these two fingers. Where am I? Right here.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on. There you go.
So it's these two fingers. And the way you grip it, I need to move a little bit like that. The way you grip it is you get your hand down, you got your three fingers on the table like this, and you get your index and your thumb on the edges. It's not a grip like that, although you can for a certain toss. For generally, it's like this. Now, I mentioned sweaty fingers, and the reason why I don't do it. I know people say that I use that as an excuse because my dice on any toss goes all over the place, and I can't shoot to save my life. But I'm going to demonstrate something to you. So I'm just going to grip the dice. This is how sweaty my hands are tonight. I'm going to grip the dice. Now I'm going to separate it. All I did was separate my finger. Look how the dice ended up. This is how the dice will end up in the air if your fingers are sweaty. I'm going to do it again. All I'm doing is I'm gripping the dice and I'm just opening my hands, and they're sticking to my hands. So I'm going to demonstrate the mechanics of it tonight, but you gotta look over the outcome and where the dice is landing. So when you let's zoom out again, Jeff, please.
Okay.
Thank you. So usually when you grab the dice, you put them right here. I've seen Howard put his dice back here, which now it's off the zoom cam, but you can see it on the other cameras, and kind of taking a further toss, especially if he's back further, like if he was at a crapless table, at a 14-footer, or at stick left 2, kind of do a, excuse me, dice, kind of do like a backswing and go. But for the most part, you kind of do it from where your right hand is situated. I always have my right hand holding down on the rail. And what you do is you barely pick up the dice off the table, and you go straight with it. The dice is supposed to travel like this. with no spin, very low, all the way, land, hit the back wall and stop. Kind of like almost the on axis or par toss. Another way you can do it is a drop shot. And a drop shot is you just lift your hand up and it goes like this, no spin, and land. So I'm going to do both to you tonight. I'm going to show you the regular way. So you pick it up, and I was setting 6-6 and 5-5, so don't worry. It hit a hard 10, but don't worry about it. But I hope you kind of saw the mechanics of it. The dice did separate in the air, but that's because of, again, my sweaty fingers. I'm going to do it again. We're going to come here, and we're barely going to lift it off the table, and we're going to throw it straight out. That was a little bit too hard, but you saw how it went. Now, if I wanted to do a drop shot, I would do the same thing, except I would throw it high like I usually do my drop shots. So you would go up, you'd go like this, and then go up like that without angling the dice. You don't angle it. It stays straight. From here, we went like this. The drop shot, we go up like that. We go like this. Do it again. You set it side by side. You put your hand like this, your entire palm, everything kind of comes like this. So the way Howard taught me is you start with the palm, with the edge of your hand, and you come down. And as soon as you have all your three hands, all your three fingers on the table, you go for the grip. So you go like this, then you go up. Now, Tony Leo, when he did his video, if you go on his channel or his Facebook page, you'll see him do this. If you want to go ahead and zoom in, Jeff, please. So he will use both fingers, but he will use this finger, the third finger, as an anchor behind the dice. Like this. You see this right here? So he would go like that and put his third finger like this as an anchor behind the dice. So Jeff, zoom out please. So it's the same grip, but this third finger goes like that. See how the dice split because of, but you get what I'm saying. Again, 6-5, 6-5. Put your third finger like this as an anchor, and it helps to push the dice straight. That's what he told his students. I saw someone, I cannot remember who the name, but they didn't like the way that their dice was coming down flat. So what that person did, and I tried it afterwards and I really liked what they did, was instead of starting with the dice flat, they come up like that, and they start with the dice on its edge, and they toss it just like that.
Show
And
that
what-
example one more time, close up, G.
Yep. And when I asked that person what they're trying to do, they said that they're trying to mimic the on-axis toss where the dice will land on its edge and go to the back wall, but without the rotation. So they would put it like this. They would pick it up like that and set it like that. And they would throw it this way.
Okay.
So they would come like that. Now, that is not an inline toss. That is not an inline toss. An inline toss, which Sarge was talking about, is where the dice, Arnell does it, is the dice is facing this way and you throw it that way. Now, you could throw an ice tong inline. Now I'll do it right-handed. So you hold it like this. And I hooked it to the right. And then you can do it left-handed. But I do it, when I do it from straight out. So if I'm on straight out and I want to use an ice tong, I'll do my inline shot. So I moved over here, and from straight out, I'll use my inline toss, which is but I use the ice tong grip. Remember I said that it's a grip, but you could throw it different ways. You can throw an inline toss using the ice tong, but most of the time people use, and I know Arnell does that, people use either the 3-finger grip or the pincer grip, like this, for the inline toss. Now, for the Dice Magic grip. So what Howard, and I'll do it from here. No, let's go from straight out, because that's where he did his. So if you can zoom in on this one, Jeff, please. You should have it already in your setup. Yep, thank you. So the way Howard showed it is you angle the dice, all sevens. Of course, I don't have all sevens set here, but I'm just showing the grip. And then you have the way he says to do it is you kind of come in sideways, kind of like what we did over there from stick left. Come in sideways, lean down a little bit, and then grab the dice as an ice tong grip, and then bring it back up. So it is at an angle still, just like the other grip. And then you just, and it's so sticky that one die didn't even make it over there. So this is pretty bad tonight, but it is what it is. You understand the mechanics. We'll do it again. Six, 5, 1, 2. You come down on your side, you grab the dice, and then you come up at an angle, and then you launch it. That's a little bit better. And that's how you do the the Ice Tong Dice Magic. You can also do it differently from stick left, and the way you do it is, and this is where I modified my grip a little bit. I can do 6, 5, 1, 2. I use my middle finger to steady my index. So I kind of do this way.
Go in frame. There you go.
So I kind of go like this. It's a habit. I don't know why, but it. So look how I don't know if you can see it, but look how. Sorry, I just feel really bad about.
Somebody asked if you took a towel to the casino.
Well, that's why I don't use this toss at the casino. That's why I don't toss it, because this is very, very finicky. Same thing with the par toss. That's why I use it. I use the Uri grip on the dice, because any kind of, it'll affect it. So what I do is I use this, and I come up like that. If you want to just zoom out, so I'm at an angle like this, and then I just dice just stuck in my hand, man. And I have the AC on. I mean, it's freezing here. It is freezing down here.
Well, I think they get the idea with that. How many other positions were you going to actually throw that from?
You can throw it from.
No, on the show here tonight. What were you going to give us an example?
I mean, you can throw it from the hook. You can do it from here, but and you can do it from straight out like I showed. But from here you have to kind of like readjust to get it back there. But usually, even and this is kind of bouncy. So the folks that have come to my house and seen it, but see how the dice lands nice and flat, because there's no spin on it, and it just dead bounces down to the to the table. I'm going to pause for a drink, so if there are any questions or if there's anything anybody's saying, I'm more than welcome to.
Let's go over and take a look at the questions. Will says he says good evening to us. He says, I put this up there. You weren't looking when you were throwing it last time. He said, I only use the ice tong with magic off axis. If you throw it on axis, the ice tong, they split no matter what I do. Good example, G. So you already answered a question from Darnell about the actual, if you carry a towel up there, and then there was another question here. I don't know if Dustin's serious with this or not, so I'm gonna put it up here anyway. G, have you ever tried waxing your fingertips? I don't know if that's a legitimate question or not, but he did ask it. Yeah.
Unfortunately, mine is a medical situation. My sweat glands are abnormal, and I've been to a couple of doctors, and they said that there's a way to help me, but it's through a series of injections. But they said that they've had stories where people have lost feelings or numbness in their hands, and I'm like, well, nobody's gonna prick me with any needles. I'm a needle phobia anyway. I faint when I see a needle. So that's out. But numbness in the hand or no feeling, no. I'd rather just deal with the sweatiness. So I've adapted my grips and tosses, but I will. Sarge is right. I've seen people, like, I wish I could. I'm gonna one day when my hands are not sweaty, I'm going to tape it and show it. Because when I throw it and my hands are not sweaty, it is like dice are glued all the way down there, and they just land like that. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I spent like while I was talking, just rubbing my fingers, and and you could see how they just flew out really nice. But that only lasts two throws, and then we're done. The dice will split. Let me see if I can do that one more time. I'm just gonna rub my fingers on the towel real quick. Like
It wasn't
that.
a bad throw. Yeah, it wasn't a bad throw at all.
Yeah. But now if I do it without wiping on the towel, they're gonna split because I'm already starting to sweat.
Yeah, here's
I've
somebody
seen
that
some
says they
people
bring
do
a
it
they
very
bring a
nice.
they bring a towel to the casino. There's somebody actually says that.
Yeah, no, I bring a towel to the casino sometimes, but I use it so that I can hold the dice in a Yuri grip. I just land. So again, we talked about why the different tosses, um, because I sometimes need to toss the dice holding it differently. Now, when we were at the bash on the way out, and I went to the IP, I did the on access toss. It was a three finger on access, and the dice did not stick to my hand because. They for some reason I wasn't sweating much at the IP. I don't know what was going on, and that's when and I was like, okay, I'm going to do the par toss. But I showed you how the dice would just split. Just imagine if you're doing the par shot where you're holding the dice like this, right? And then you know you they will split like this in the air.
Hey,
There's no way they're staying on
give me one
axis.
second. I'm gonna do that zoom shot. I'm gonna bring that to zoom.
So you know how I just showed you where if I do it like that and I let go. I mean, look at this. All I did was separate my fingers, and they're on the table. And look at the gap. Imagine if you're doing the par grip, even if you go skinny, right? And they're separating like this in the air. That's why a lot of people cannot throw on axis and get on axis results. Not because they can't throw the dice worth a flip. It's because a lot of times they don't know it, but their hands are sweaty and it's affecting what happens when they release the dice. Here's another thing about the ICE TONG grip. When you release the dice, I'm gonna come right here a little bit. You gotta make sure you release it like this, and not like that. See, this is a V, and this is a parallel release. People don't know that. Let me do that again. These two fingers are separating in parallel, like this. Okay. They're separating in parallel, like this. A lot of people go like that. That's a V. Now, why is that important? Because if you're holding the dice like this, and you're separating in parallel, and the dice moves away from you, they move like this. If you're separating as a V, they'll go like this because of of how they're sticking. So if I go like this and I separate as a V, look at that. Look how they moved. But if I go like this and I separate in parallel, this one barely moved, but this one stayed the same. But that's because I also moved my thumb a little bit. But in the air, you don't have that problem. So you have to make sure the release of your ICE TONG grip is a parallel release. And when I say parallel, that means that you're not opening your thumb and finger like that. You're separating them. This is opening. This is separating.
They saw that. Sorry, I switched screens on you.
No worries.
Couple comments here before you move on, because I'm having a real bad thunderstorm here before we lose power. Meeson says sometimes they issue sticky dice, and for some reason the stick man is always reluctant to clean them. Any comments about that, G?
They never clean them. The only time I see them clean them is during COVID, and that's when they were cleaning the dice. But they would pass you the dice, and you know, I mean, I have humidity. Yeah, dice mama, humidity. I mean, you gotta understand. We have so many, as dice influencers, we had so many challenges ahead of us, in front of us, to try and do what we do and keep the dice doing what we're doing. Add all that crap on top of it. It's like people wonder, why am I tossing, really bad today? I tossed awesome yesterday. Any type of movement on the dice to the left or to the right will affect it at the end of the table 10 to 15 times. A slight movement, let me bring the big dice.
Well, before you do that, let me add this up here so you can talk about this too. Pop says, that's JR, lightning shooter. He says they're separating because you have too much skin on the dice.
Yes, but you have to. Now, I have seen somebody throw it barely catch some, but the reason why if you don't put skin on the dice, then the dice is going to separate. You can't hold it skinny like the 3-finger grip, because the dice is just going to go like that. Or like this.
Let me zoom in, G. All right, go ahead.
So if you do it from here, the dice is going to separate because you're holding it from the tops. If you do it from the top, it's going to separate like this. So you have to come down, and you can't go like this. I know what he's saying. He's saying go on the tips. If you go on the tips, now you're kind of at a slight angle to where it will work very, very well. But a lot of the people that I've seen can't do that. They have certain disabilities that they can't go on the tips. To be honest,
I think this gets back to comfortability with the actual individual player. Like this hand here has been broke like 8 times in my life, and if you see, this finger is way off the rest of the hand. There's nothing I can do about that. And so if I was to do that, and I watched a guy, Tito, that's part of Big AZ's group. He throws ice tong all the time, and I've watched him do it. He's got real big hands, and some of the people here in the chat have actually seen him play. So I think it's up. It takes practice. It takes a lot of release practice. Like, you have to constantly release the dice till you get comfortable with whatever you want. So what we're showing here today is the fact that you can have the ice tong throw, and there's many ways that you can grip the dice.
Right. So one last time, Jeff, if you can zoom in on this one right here, please.
Sure. Give me 1 second.
So if you have the flexibility in your fingers and you can bend them in, like I'm doing, I can barely do it, but if you can bend them in to where you're touching the dice right here and then right here, like that, that is the optimum dice grip for the ice tong. The optimum. But I can do it for 2, maybe 3 tosses, and then I get cramps because I'm not used to doing it. A lot of people are not used to, so they hold it like this with their skin. If you can practice this hold to where you're literally, you're crunching your fingers in and you're holding it like this. If you can do that, then it doesn't matter if you're sweating. So if you wanna back up, Jeff, like I'm sweating right now. If you can do this, the separation is slight. But me personally, I've practiced with it, but after 2 or 3 tosses, I mean, I'm already starting to cramp up right here because it takes so much to bend those fingers like that. You have to be double jointed sometimes.
Question from Rick. Rick says, "Gee, are there certain table conditions that would cause you to want to switch to do this type of toss?"
Yes, yes. If it's a very neutral table, it's ideal for flat landing dice. If it's a bouncy table, but playable, like bouncy, where the dice, it's not a trampoline bouncy, but more of a spongy bouncy table, kind of. If you can get the dice to land flat, that will give you a long that will give you long hands. Um, Also, for the dice magic toss, if you wanna if you can't get the regular grip and you're more comfortable doing that, um, I tried it on the tub at Cherokee from Straight Out. Um, it went okay until my hands started sweating and I switched immediately to something else. Um, but it was the dice was landing beautiful. I mean, I loved it for 3 tosses. But then I had to give it up.
There's a lot of comments in the chat, too many to display, talking about things you could bring without getting caught as cheating. You know, a rosin bag in your pocket
Yeah, no,
chalk.
I've tried all of this, and the only thing it did was make a mess on my fingers and on the dice. It just made a gooey mess. Like I said, with my condition, maybe they're talking about others who sweat like occasionally.
Well,
For
actually,
humidity.
I was trying to have a discussion about there's quite a few comments, probably a dozen in here about is it cheating if you bring a rosin bag, chalk in your pocket? SP Scarface says, what about finger tape? Like I don't want to say Band-Aid, but finger tape that goes on like bowlers and other sports enthusiasts use on their hands. To not try to
Yeah,
get it
because,
sticky.
most pit bosses will not allow you to have any foreign object on your hand if they see that you're gaining any influence. I was surprised that they allowed people to wear gloves during COVID to throw dice. Now, I tell you, I tried it once, but I could not feel the dice. I'm old school like Howard. I have to feel the dice in my fingers, and with gloves, you can't feel it the right way, and I couldn't toss it. I mean, I picked it up to do a par toss, and one die went like this, and the other die went like that, and my hand was already here, and the dealer looked at me. That was down at the Boulevard, and the dealer looked at me, and I'm like, you know what? Can I take my gloves off? And he's like, yeah, as long as you wipe your hands. Um, so I'll tell you,
Well,
any foreign object like Band-Aids or something like that, they're going to frown upon, or they're going to look at you. If you're sevening out, they're not going to say anything. By the way, if you're losing money, they're not going to say anything. But as soon as you get on a hot roll, they will say, "Sir, you can't. You gotta change hands, or you can't throw the dice." It's just what they do.
all right, here's another question. Before you answer it, guys, we do have the giveaways for tonight coming up in a little bit. I'll be giving you the password. First thing we're going to give away is the G Gargoyle fleece throw, which is the size of a mini blanket. We're going to give that away and whatever else she says. And then we're going to come back with the 5 entries in for the G jacket, which is valued at $250. Taking 10 entries a month, 5 on this show, 5 on the show in 2 weeks from now. And we will be giving that away in December. All right, answer this question, G. Can you
Yes.
see it?
Yes. So yes, that is a different way to do it. I can't, because I'm not built like that. But if you can use your middle finger instead of your index, it will give you an advantage. But I don't know how to do that. I mean, I've tried it, but it don't go well. I'm just not made to do that. So I wasn't going to show that, because the
Yeah.
mechanics is the same, but I can't even do the grip. But
And Pop says he uses his pinky, which is what Tito does. He loves thumb
Yep.
and pinky.
Yep, I've seen people do it this way. I've seen people do it this way.
Let me zoom in.
I've seen,
Bring
yeah,
that back
I've
up.
seen like that.
Hold it down, get it in frame. Thank you. Yep.
You know, I can't. So I wasn't going to show it, but I've seen people play with the different fingers. You do what's comfortable for you as long as you're following the right mechanic. If the dice is going like this in the air and they're looking nice and they're landing nice, stick to it. If that's working for you, stick to it. I've seen other people do it with different fingers. I only mentioned the index and the thumb because that's what Howard always did, and I've seen Tony, Leo do it. That's so I'm just showing it the way I've been taught. However, if the pinky or if these things work for you better, do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Just like with any toss that we show, you take it and then you make it yours. If you have to modify something slightly to feel comfortable, do it. Like I said, that one guy, I forgot who it was, but I saw him. He would go like this, and he would land them on the edges over there, and they would just barely hit the back wall and die. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, how is he doing that? How is he doing that? And I came home, tried it, and it didn't work like that. And I can't get it to do what he was doing. But he was having, he must have practiced it a lot. That's the other thing. A lot of these tosses that I do, not just the ice tong, but a lot of the other ones, you won't see me throw them in the casino because I don't practice them that much, like on a daily basis, on a regular basis. If you have one toss, regardless of what it is, and you practice it for every day, you are going to get really good at it. And that's going to be your toss at the casino. You're going to be way much better than me, which is good. This is the intent of what we're trying to do here, teaching you the mechanics of a toss. And if you like it, take it, practice it, and make it yours.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and put the password up here for the fleece jacket. So we'll start taking those entries now. I want to make sure that the software is working. And it's basically July is hot. It's hot. June was hot. July come in with a bang too. So JULEISHOT. July is hot. We'll get you qualified for the fleece blanket that G seems to be unfolding there. And while you're doing that, G, I'm actually going to zoom in once you get it put out there, and so people can see it's rather nice. Is there anything goes along with that tonight, G?
Nope.
Okay, just a fleece jacket. Cool.
Yep. During the talk show, we're giving away the little coffee table and thing and the mug but this I think Meeson, is it Meeson or who got Meeson got the first one. Oh, you can't see the whole thing. Hang on. So if I pull it up,
I can zoom back out, but I just I wasn't even paying attention. I was doing
the Gargoil logo, but it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. I have to steal it. I have to steal this one every time I want to show it for my wife because she's upstairs using it, and I have to borrow it and then take it upstairs to her. So this is the fleece, and then I have the jackets that we can show whenever you're ready to do that jackets.
Well, I mean, if you're ready to do it now on the show and tell, then we'll get back to see if I'll call for questions here as we continue in with the show. So, believe it or not, G, we're working on an hour on the show. I know you never know that.
I know. I'm not gonna say it. I say it every time. I can't believe we've been talking that long.
So while G's setting up to show the jackets, if you have any questions for him on the ice tong toss, please put it in the form of a question with a capital Q and a semicolon. I'll pin it, and we'll come back to it. I think I've been through all the questions that we've had so far. So please put a capital Q and a semicolon, ask the question, and then we'll get around to giving away both that fleece that we just saw, and I'm going to zoom in on the jacket here just so you can see it while that big thunder goes boom, boom.
Yep.
We'll give away that jacket at the end, towards the end of the segment of the show.
No. We're going to take drawings and we're going to give it away.
Yeah, it's five
we're
drawings.
Give it away in December.
I apologize. We're going to take 5 entries.
Number. Yeah.
Yep. 5 entries.
This is Port Authority. You can see the logo very well. This is men's. Ladies come in different color. This is the ladies. If I zoom in on the logo, you can see it is stitched. It's not printed. So this will last you a long time.
William, it's not actually his wife's blanket. That's just show and tell, the one there. The rest of them are all packaged up.
Yeah,
William
yeah.
said,
You're not gonna get my wife's. No, you're not gonna get mine. You'll get them packaged up.
Oh. So, all right. Any questions? G, have we covered all of your talking points for tonight's show on the ICE Tong? And if not, we can talk about the show coming up in 2 weeks. We'll give the people just a little bit of time to place a question in the chat there.
I've covered everything I need to cover. I mean, you've seen the grip. You've seen different ways you can just toss it. Whether it's at an angle and stuff. But you feel free to play. With whether you want to use it with the index or your third finger or the pinky. And try it out. You can try the drop shot. Play around with it and see if it's something that you want to put into your repertoire of tosses.
An interesting comment from Keeley. That's Biloxi Craps I have on the screen. He says Carrie, and she's with the group known as Craps Angels. They play a lot in Vegas, typically about the same time Brian from HCS is there. Has 3 fingers taped together, and she uses it for the partar. So I have seen Band-Aids and tape on hands before. They've never said anything, but then again, I don't remember the table conditions on how they went. So
yeah, I've actually seen them tell people they couldn't throw dice because they had foreign objects on their hand. Now,
I have not seen that.
That was in Vegas at a certain casino. I don't know if they do it everywhere. They may be right. I mean, casinos don't follow all the rules, right? They're not all the same. They make up the rules as they go along sometimes.
Yeah, they do. They do that. Oh, my goodness. So have we covered all the bullet points, G? So we can go ahead and we can probably give away this, give away the fleece blanket, and then we'll go on with the next giveaway as we talk about what's coming up in a couple weeks. So last call for questions, ladies and gentlemen, on the ICE Tong toss. If you got here late, back up about 20 minutes from this point right here, and you'll see G illustrate and talk about the different various ways to grip the dice. So,
we covered all the bullet points. If we can take questions on this or anything, anything else, if we have time, while we're here.
I got a question coming in, but let me pin this up here before we do that. I just want to make sure everybody understands. Last call for giving away the fleece gargoyle blanket, and the password is July is hot, all one word, nothing else in the line. JULYISHOT. July is hot. So let's take a look at this question. Do you throw the dice straight or at an angle? How high the dice should be? That comes from White Belt 4 line, and I think that he may have come in the show just a little too late. But can you answer that question, Jay?
Yep. Yeah. So if you throw it low, straight and low, not you don't put an angle on it. The dice does not angle. It you keep it flat. The bottom dice needs to stay flat to the table surface. If you're using the drop shot, you just raise your hand high, but you kind of twist your arm a little bit, similar to the chopper toss, to where you kind of move your wrist up a little bit. You kind of do it slightly to keep the dice flat because you want them to land as flat as possible. But to throw it from here, it's about this high, maybe.
Okay.
So you just go like that.
All right, got another question?
Yes, sir.
This one comes from Caveman. I believe we met him in Biloxi in May. Could this be thrown into the hook effectively?
Yes, and I have done it. Now, I don't know what set you want to use, but I have done it. And let me tell you, So uh, do we have a good camera shot on this hook right here, Jeff? Can you see? Can you guys see this?
Let me just zoom in before you throw it. See if this is what you're looking for.
Can you guys see this? Where is it?
I can, so they should be able to.
Okay. All right. So on a hook shot, what I recommend you do is you know I'm just gonna set it because I'm just it's a habit. What I recommend you do is you can't start from here. You start from here, angle it just a tad, and you go like that.
I
I'll do it
assume he's
again.
talking about the rear hook, but I don't think it really makes any difference which way you're throwing
I'm-
it.
He said a hook shot, so I'm hoping
it-
he said
In the hook, either
In the
the
hook.
front or the back hook. In the case right now,
Right.
you're throwing it in the rear hook.
right. Now if you want to throw it over here, you can. I don't know what your influence is, but you can angle it just kind of like that.
Nope. Hang on. Well, I didn't really throw it to you, but go ahead and repeat that one. Show that setup in your hand. And John says, "Who wants to be my dice coach on a free cruise?" He's asking you, G.
No, you can't get me on those floating disasters. I'm like Mr. T. You will have to drug me and put me to sleep, and then I wake up on the boat, and I still won't be good.
Pity the fool.
I pity the fool. You know what? One day, I'm not gonna say never. One day, it's on my bucket list. Anyway, you do it like that from here, because you kind of want to go straight. You don't want to come like this and then go in the hook, because it's not really in the hook. You kind of want it at an angle. So Jeff, zoom out for a second. So what you want to do is go like this and then like that, throw it into the hook. I think that's what he's saying. Now, I have attempted to do this right-handed from stick left. And to do it right-handed from stick left, you know, if you're right-handed and there's no room, the only option you have is to go like this. And if you're a contortionist, that would work for you. But you do it like this, and then you go like that.
Wasn't a bad toss
Now-
there.
Yeah, now I can do that 3, maybe 4 times. After that, I'm gonna go owie, owie, owie. I can't do that anymore because you're bending. This is not natural. I mean, my wrist. It's not natural. But if that's why I push people sometimes, and I challenge them. Change lefty righty. Of course, if my position is open on stick right, you know, I don't have to worry. I can just go like this, and then throw it that way.
Missed
course,
it, but
you
I
get the
understand
right
what you're doing.
Yeah.
I know that's a loud crack
Yes.
of thunder in the background. If you heard that,
Yes.
I have a couple people here that are talking about dice sets. So this is where you get into. I know you've been throwing it with the all 7 set. Pop says it should be done with the all 7, but Williams says he uses a 5-1-3-5. But I think it's up to the individual person throwing it, and especially into you get your landing zone, the velocity, the height, and you already talked about it's a low throw. So I think you got to practice. Just don't walk into the casino and poof, just try it. You definitely want to practice this before you
Right.
head there.
And the dice set is up to the person, to the table condition and the position, like where you are. I like to use the all 7 set because I like to do a lot of off axis. This is on axis, by the way. This is pure on axis, except for the dice magics toss. Other than that, this right here is pure on axis. But I've seen a lot of people set 7s because they get double pitches and one rollover, so they get a lot of hard ways. I've seen, who was it? My mind is just not working tonight. They just play the 4, 6, 8, and 10, and then put the hard ways on the 4, 6, 8, 10, and set the dice and throw it because they're going for the hard ways.
All right.
For the
Well,
dice double fifty.
we have this fleece jacket fleece blanket to give away, G. So let's go ahead and give that away. Last call for questions. You got questions for G tonight? We'll take it. And Ed, welcome to the show. I believe Ed was probably recording with 10 Ton tonight for his Casino Tears podcast. But welcome, Ed. I'm glad you're here with us. Finally showed up, and glad to have you. And
Ed would love to go with you on a cruise.
yeah, he missed that question. Who wants to be his dice coach on a free cruise? But let me switch over here to the game show screen just to make sure. So it's last call. It is. Let me see if I can pin one of those. I have one here. We'll put pops up here. That's it. July is hot. JULYISHOT, and we're going to be giving that away in just a few seconds. So. Gee, did we miss any bullet points? Because I got hollered at a month or so ago for not letting you go through all the bullet points. So I'll make sure we got all the bullet points.
Nope. This one is very simple. It's only it's only got A, B, or C. There's nothing fancy about it, and it's just the grip. The only thing I will say is, if you can try it with the index, you can try it with the middle, with the fourth or the pinky. It's how contortionist you are, and what your fingers and wrist can handle.
All right. So are we ready to give this away? I'll let you do the countdown, G.
All right, 3, 2, 1, roll it.
Marble Fork Band, that's Chase. Some people call him Chaz, but I always called him Chase. I've talked to him on the phone. He's never corrected me, so I'm not sure which way it is. So congratulations, Chase. In this one, you have to go. Chase, you've won before on my show over the past 4 or 5 years. Go to midatlanticcraps.com. The middle tab where it says claim your prize, enter the information in. I screenshot it tonight, send it to G, and he mails it out before midnight. No, just kidding. He'll get it out in the mail at some point. But Chase, congratulations on winning that fleece tonight. So make sure midatlanticcraps.com, promotion tab in the center of the menu, and then the center of the screen at the top, there's a little blue button. So G, let's go ahead and talk about what's coming up on the show 2 weeks from today on So You Think You Know Craps, while I reset this so we can get the passwords in for the qualifiers for the 5 qualifiers.
So coming up in 2 weeks, one of our viewers put in the chat that they would like to see how we approach the table differently from, how the dice is reacting, and what modifications to do when the dice is reacting differently to the table, and then how to approach the distance. Like if you're on stick left and now you go and your position is not there on stick left 1, if you have to go to stick left 2 and 3, how does that affect the dice? So they asked for us to talk about that. So we're going to talk about that and maybe throw a few just to show samples as we're talking.
Okay, and that is, I believe that's 2. Go ahead.
And what I would recommend is that either in the chat tonight or later in the comments section, if you want us to talk about something that we haven't covered in the last 6 months, let us know. Part of the So You Think You Know Craps show is going to move over to here's a toss and here's what could happen and why it happened and how to fix it, while we're talking about some other stuff, because we kind of covered a lot of the stuff that's at the casino and everything else. So we don't want to just be some of the people that just take something and repeats it and repeats it and repeats it. We want to cover some new stuff. So if you're not somebody that knows about camera, slow motion videos and stuff like that, all that stuff you can't use in the casino. You're sitting in the casino, you're throwing dice, and you're seeing it act weird. What do you do? What do you look for, and how do you adjust immediately? So the future shows we will cover some of these, some of these. But in 2 weeks, we're going to cover what what effects does your toss and dice have when you move positions, and then what effects does it have on different types of tables. That's what one of the viewers wanted to see. So that's what we're going to talk about.
All right, there's the password for G's 5 entries in for the nice embroidered jacket that he
So
showed
the
us
comment
a little while ago in the show.
the comment that you put right before this, was that a
think we
question
answered
or a
it.
comment?
No, that was a question we already answered. It was queued up. I was trying to actually get
Oh.
that right there to work.
Oh,
So,
okay. All right.
yeah.
I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Yeah. Good evening, Waylon. How you doing, my friend? Been a while since I've talked to you. Why is Waylon not coming up there? Oh, he's over here. Oh, that's where he is. Let's move over here. That's where he is. And then
Hey,
we got
Waylon.
Ashish. We got Yo Chef in the house tonight. Hey, Yo Chef. Ashish is with us tonight. How you everybody doing? If I missed somebody in the chat today, guys, the show just got off on a. Jeff was off tonight producing the show. That's all I can say. It is what it
No,
is.
I didn't even feel it. But then again, I hardly notice it because I'm trying to
Well,
concentrate on other stuff.
you're not the Oz, the great Oz, not to be confused with our friend Oz, the great Oz behind the curtain, pulling all the bells and whistles. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. And most of the time I feel like a nut, and most of the time I do. Anyway, for those of you who like almond joy. So there's the password. It is. Let me push this up here. Sean R has it. Doesn't matter whether you capitalize it. All has to just be one word. One line in there, and it's G and Mac, the letters G, the word and, A-N-D, and Mac, M-A-C, for midatlanticcraps, and you'll be able to get qualified for that nice jacket. Let's see what she says. This might be a topic, G, that Steph wants to talk about while we're letting more people get their entries in. We've got almost 60 people watching,
Oh, okay.
and we're
Let me write it down.
only 19 entries. Yeah, idea, etiquette at the table, i.e., when to buy in, what not to do, etc. I think the buy-in question is always a pet peeve, and people have probably heard me say that before. But we could go through a lot of etiquette that most people don't realize, and for a new player, is one thing. But what happened to me last month, where in Atlantic City, where they took time, the box lady took time to explain the game to 3 different people in the middle of my throw. Did not go over very well, but that's a good topic. Very good topic. Hey, say hello to Alicia too.
I wrote it down.
She says, "Chef must win." That's not the password. That's not the password.
Waylon wants to win one for Alicia.
Yeah, we talked about that last month. So you got to enter to win. So that's all you got to do. Still got most of the people that were here at the beginning. That's good. We got VDT and Craig Old Bay with us. So Sarge is still here. David's with us. Keeley. We got a lot of people here. Puck Off is with us. I didn't see Puck Off here today. So it's good to see everybody here. And a couple new people that are here. Look, we do these shows twice a month. This is the dice tossing techniques. ICE TONG GRIP tonight. 2 weeks from now we do So You Think You Know Craps. It's just a talk show for about 45 minutes. G and I shoot the breeze about things that you may not know about the game, that you may know, things that experiences that have happened to us that have created controversy. And then we give away stuff just like this. Thank you, Keeley. I appreciate that, as always. Those comments are good. Let's see here. Let's put this one up here. If you play during prime time, expect idiots, just laugh and smile. Oh, caveman.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not one that usually gets upset, and the noises around the table and that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. What bothers me is when somebody... Well, one, they buy in the middle of my roll and don't put a bait. But what I hate is when a player is questioning a dealer bet and they start arguing over it, and it's not settled fast enough. But I realize our money is our money, and typically the player is wrong and the house is right. I have seen it go the other way, and God bless the person that stuck his neck out to create a lot of animosity at the table amongst the players that wanted to get the next roll in, because the shooter was hot. Anything to ice the shooter, right, G? Icing the shooter.
Icing the don't ice the shooter. If the shooter, look, 99% of this DI thing is consistency and rhythm.
It is.
Consistency and rhythm.
Yeah, when it comes to dice throwing, there are a lot of other things, G, that maybe one of the shows, this is my little tidbit, we go back with what you, Ed, and I did one time and talk about, the fundamentals of what your mindset should be when you get to the table. Maybe that should be maybe the last show or the next to last show. Always go back and review that. Maybe we could coerce Ed to come on to the show with us. Ed's sitting at home now doing this. Oh, my God, I can't believe we just said that. But maybe we get Ed on the show with us. It's been a while.
It's been a while, when we finish up the series, we need to have the Three Musketeers together,
Yes,
and
we
that
do.
way maybe we can have Ed throw right-handed
Yes.
or left-handed from a different
Well,
position at the table.
see, little birdie told me he has a new toss he's been working on. It's not perfected yet, but he's had a new toss. But you know what people liked about Ed, you and me, G, is when we did that live show, not the talk show. They liked us when we did the crapsy with the crapless. They really did like that, and I didn't realize that they did. As you know, crapless isn't. I could care less until May when crapless saved me. 3 nights in a row
Biloxi.
in Biloxi. Yeah.
You know what? I'd like to do one every now and then. All three of us, scrapless, just tossing. I think a lot of people like that.
Gee, you're gonna have to go back.
And you know what? I know I see Sarge. I know I've done shows with Sarge right before Biloxi. We called it Biloxi practice. I'd like to get on there and throw a few with Sarge.
Well, there you have it. Have at it. Gee, you're going to have to go back and look at the comments, because there's a lot of. I haven't been able to pin them all. There's a lot of suggestions out there for topics for that show that you want to do. All right, guys. Last call.
I'm not going to be able. So once this goes live, we won't be able to see the chat. Put it in the comments. So once this is out there, if I can't see them and we can't get to them, please go on the video and say, and comment in the comment section, say, I would like to see such and such and such. I ain't shooting left-handed for nobody.
And G just took my outro for when we were going to close the show up. Thank you, G. I'll repeat it. But yeah, Ed said he ain't throwing left-handed for nobody. Here's another one that Steph put up there. Don't be that guy. That's a great title for the next. So you think you know craps? I like it.
Yeah, but right. Dice Dejan already did it.
Yeah, I could talk to Chris. Chris gave permission here lately for another YouTuber to do something with him, so I'll call Chris. Maybe I'll get him on the phone right now. It's not too late. I could probably call him and ask him. Anyway, let me see what Waylon says. Then we're going to give this thing away. Question: I'd like for G to inspect my Waylon toss and give me his 2 cents on it. I'll do a video on it for him to review. Cool. Yeah. I don't think he would mind doing that. Not at all. Oh, let's see here. I think we called them all. Somebody talked about drunk people at the table. Yes, we know that. So let's go ahead and give this away.
I don't mind drunk people at the table. I just don't like the guy that brings the drinks to them.
That doesn't bother me. I know it. In Biloxi, you were having a tizzy fit over it, and Rock was shooting one time, and I was shooting one time. But it doesn't bother me. It takes a lot to bother me at the table. Even my good friend Clay, he can't stand table talk. He can't stand the dealers talking to one another and the players talking to the dealers about every day BS or how's your weather, how's your day going. He wants the dealers to pay attention to the game and make sure that the payouts are right, because I have seen some odd payouts here recently that weren't standard progression, but they were right bets. I mean, they were right denomination. They just, who puts a $55 on a 9? It's an odd number, and you see the dealer kind of pause, and then when they're talking to somebody, they didn't pay attention that it's 55, and the player had to redirect them to say, "Hey, you paid me wrong." But in any event,
I know you want to do the drawings, but one last comment. When we were in Biloxi, when on the weekend, on a Saturday night, Anthony came over and he was upset, and he's like, "I don't know how you guys can throw dice with all that music." And I told him, I said,
doesn't bother me.
I practiced that. I said, I have my round toy friend that you can get from Amazon. I'm not going to say the name because it'll start ordering a whole bunch of crap. and I play music loud, and it doesn't bother me. And he's like, I don't know how you do that. Well, remember Sunday when we were at the private table and they started playing the music loud and I was tossing. And I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but I was tapping my fingers, tapping my toes, because it was just like I was running the music here at home, throwing dice. I programmed myself for that not to bother me because I can't think of any casino that you go in that doesn't play loud music.
Yeah, and the Hard Rock is really loud, especially on Fridays and
Yes.
Saturday nights. This is Hard Rock in Biloxi when they have that live band. One band was excellent, the other one was playing too many backing tracks, and the girl just could not sing. No disrespect, no
Yeah,
disrespect.
yeah.
I can't sing, but
But you know, we'll have a talk show on that. But program yourself to deal with things at the casino.
all right. How about we program to give this thing away? Last call. G and Mac is the word.
I got my little cheat
and
sheet
Mac.
right here.
Yep,
Write the
he's got
names
his
down.
cheat sheet. We're going to draw 5 entries. Currently have 29 entries and 55 people currently watching us. So real quick, let me put this up here. What Sarge says, and we'll draw it. Did I mention G threw me a $500 chip in Biloxi for hitting the hard 4 on the come out? Was I at the table then, G?
Um,
You gave me $100 when I hit the back-to-back yos, but I don't know that.
right. I don't know if you were
Yeah.
on the table, but yeah, I had it working, and it was. I think I got like 15 or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what I had on it, but I threw him a $500 chip.
Wow, I'm a little jealous, Sarge. You
You
get
gotta
you get a
look.
purple chip, and
Look.
I get this little measly
We can
$100
do
black
a whole
chip.
show. We can do a whole show on tipping players. But look, if somebody makes you money, be nice to that person because that one black chip that you give them may be something that they've been asking for and needing for the entire day, and they're there waiting on that. It can.
Well,
It
gee,
can. It can
anytime you want to flip me a black chip, I'll take it and I'll hold on to it for you. All right, let's go ahead and let's give these away. Gee, I'm gonna let you count down each time after you write down the name. I understand last month I went a little too fast, so go ahead and
Yeah.
count down. We're gonna draw 5 of these guys, 5 names.
All right, ready? 3,
Yep.
2, 1, draw.
Dark Vader. Hey, I think that's Bill. I think that's his name. Dark Vader is 1. You don't have to go to my website and enter these NGs, writing them down, but in the December month, you don't have to be present to win, but you want to be present because we're not going to chase you down. Go ahead and do another one, G.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oz! Oh my goodness, Oz. The famous Oz, not the Wizard of Oz, but the famous Oz.
Nice.
Nice. That was
right.
that's 2 easy ones. Go ahead and pick another one.
3, 2, 1, go.
Now look, Jay-Z can never say that these guys win because now Jay-Z is qualified. That's Silver Fox Craps, guys. He runs a YouTube channel almost daily at 1 o'clock and occasionally at nighttime and Thursday nights at 7. He does a casino pre-something show, but every day at 1 o'clock, Jay-Z's out there playing along with the app. And you play along with him, and he's a good guy. I've played many times with him. And Jay-Z will tell you, I'm his AC tour guide. All right, go ahead.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Rock! I think this must be programmed for Rock because he has qualified several times. So that's Rock. That's Rock Full, not the Rock that we know, G.
That's one Rocky full, right?
Yeah, one Rocky Full. Yes.
Yeah.
And then one more.
Last one. 3, 2, 1, go.
Caveman 369. Caveman 369 is the last to get qualified tonight. Now you haven't won, but you're qualified for the December show. Let me merge this back over. And gee, my my Chrome screen just did what it did that I told you that I don't like it doing. But fortunately,
It's all right.
it did not.
We
It
got
did
the
not
last
mess up. Yeah, no, it didn't. No, we did this in Edge. So I just have to restart my Chrome
So we
I can
drew
look
5,
at YouTube.
right?
Yeah, that was 5. At least I thought it was.
Yep.
Let's go back and take a
So-
look. Let's see. Let's go backwards. There's Caveman, and then we had Rock, and then we had Jay-Z. That's 3. And then we had Bill. And then we had
Oz.
Oz. Yep, I skipped Oz. I missed. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Oz. Yep. So then we had Oz. Yes, we did.
Yep.
Cool beans. Cool.
And like I said, in November, I mean in December, we'll draw at least 5, minimum 5, but maybe more. And if if your name is drawn, then you'll need to go to the website, to Jeff's website.
To then claim it.
Put in the size and stuff, so that, because they'll all be custom ordered, and we'll have to talk about, if they get shipped to me and I ship them again, I pay double shipping. So we'll have to see. We'll figure it out. What's the best way to get the jackets out? But one step at a time. Let's get through. We got some folks that have won at least 3 times, maybe 4 times.
Not one.
We
qualified.
had one show that we had a lot of ladies, and then no ladies anymore.
At one show we had 3 or 4 out of 5 of them were females. That was great. That show.
Yep.
Yes, it was.
Yep.
Yeah. Says you all playing for second place. Sweet. I want to thank the people that gave us some super chats tonight. Vegas Day Tripper, if you're not familiar with this channel, you should be. He does a lot of live recording from the player's view with a lot of shorts. Does a great editing job and has some great music, which I happen to know where he got it from. Then Steph, Dice Mama, thank you from you and Dan. We appreciate that. My good friend Sarge Guy with the big $49.99 super chat tonight. Thank you. My Baltimore connection, DJ Dax, DJ Thunder is there. Mike the Bears, who I actually met in Vegas a year or 2 ago for a $10 super chat. And your good old buddy there, G, the voice in Gargoil, only statue come to life Gargoil that you ever see. He says thanks to both of us. Thank you for the super chats there, guys. You guys are awesome. We appreciate everything that you do for us. G, we're going to wrap it up. Believe it or not, it was 40 minutes ago when I told you we were an hour into the show. Yep.
Last call for questions or anything.
Well, I think the question. Yeah, we've done the last call for questions. If something comes up, we'll certainly hit it. But I'm just about ready to call the show and move on. We'll be back on July 22nd for So You Think You Know Craps. And to be honest with you, when G was talking about what the show was about, I was steady playing Oz behind the curtain here, setting up for that second show. So I really don't know.
We're going to talk about how do you adjust, what affects the dice if you're moving from different positions, and how do you adjust for that, and how do you adjust for different types of tables. That's right. What the request was, and I may bring in an oldie but a goodie, one of G's trick of Gargoyle's trick of the trade. I may bring one and put it on the table and start using it on every show.
As long as you keep the joke book out and bring the trick of the trade in, it's fine, because your jokes, G, they suck. I don't mean to tell you anything, but I don't know where you get that joke book at.
Oh,
anyway,
nothing wrong with my jokes.
Chef just gave us a $5 super chat. We thank you for that, and all the comments that are coming in. Yes, David, it does go fast. I appreciate that, Arnell. I always promote your show. I was getting ready to do that at the end of the show, so I got Arnell displayed up there. Arnell runs a show called Live Fantasy Craps every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. Is when it starts for my time, so just the time for your area. He uses the app Crapsy along with the show, and up to 10 live shooters every single time when you can play along in the app and test your skills, not just against Arnell's throw, because he's a good shooter, but the 9 other shooters, or maybe 10, whatever it is that he has there. It's every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. That's tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern. So make sure you go to Dice Grinders or Casino Gaming TV. He dual streams over there. G, I'm going to let you have the final word in case I missed something. Go ahead and talk about the comments again after the show, what we do, answering that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, we really appreciate everybody watching. We've been getting really good support. People watching, the numbers just grow tremendously. Several thousand views on these. So I appreciate it, and I know Jeff appreciates. Jeff, thanks for hosting. Um, if you want to know something, if you have a comment, always put it in. I'll get to it. I'll always answer the comments. Jeff always answers the comments. If you want to see something a certain type of toss in mind that we haven't done yet, or if you or for the talk show, if you have some questions or topics you want to cover, put it in the comments section, or you can send me an email, originalgargoyle@gmail.com, and we'll make sure to cover it. We're doing this for you. I'm there's no money involved. Trust me. I'm not getting paid. Jeff is not paying me under the table to do these shows. I'm doing it because this is something I want to contribute to the community. Whatever you want to know that we haven't shown yet, at a certain dice toss. Next month, we haven't talked about that, but next month we'll probably do the forward rolling tosses. So all
Well,
the
say
types
that
of
again.
forward rolling, so that where the dice is rolling this way and not like on the
I can
card toss.
honestly say, gee, I've never heard of that toss.
It's the toss that the dice is rolling.
Other way, your other way.
The dice is rolling forward instead of like the on axis where it's rolling backward. So all the tosses that you can do where the dice is rolling forward.
All right. That's news to me, but we'll see what happens. So I guess we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. G covered everything I wanted to do from the bottom of my heart for you guys to continue to reach out to me like Rich did today, or Rick did today. Rich, I say Rich because I called you that forever until May. So Rick, he reached out to me today, and we had a nice talk. For everybody out there that's thinking of me, I appreciate that.
Keep everyone in Texas in your prayers and thoughts.
Yep. The weather that is going on around here, around the nation, has been devastating. People still suffering in the Carolinas, and what happened in Texas just breaks my heart. I have a lot of good friends down there that I worried about when I was reading it, but I was glad to hear they were okay. But just so many have been devastated by by the weather down there. I mean, it just. A 100-year flood is just incredible. So keep everybody in your prayers that's suffering, whether it be from some type of devastation or some type of weather event or other thing. Everybody needs your prayers, because can't we all just get along? With that, G, I'm going to call the show. We'll see you in 2 weeks. So you think you know craps. G, my friend, as always, it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to talking to you soon. And hang in there.
Yes, sir.
Darnell says that's how I toss my stack toss rolling, so he'll probably be here. All right. So with that said, everybody be safe, play smart. God bless each and every one of you. We'll see you on the next one.